Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles, and today I'm on the patch 0.5.7 test server. Now, if you want to get yourself onto the public test server, and I do recommend you do because there's all kinds of goodies for you, you're going to have to create a public test account separate from your regular World of Warships account, and use that to log in and download the public test server client. All of the details, of course, are on the World of Warships portal, and I'll put a link to it in the video description if you fancy having a go on the test server yourself. So, what are the major features of this patch? Why should you care? Well, the headline news is that the deteriorating weather conditions and reduced visibility that you encounter when a cyclone hits the north map are spreading to other maps. The next major change is something that the developers of World of Tanks have also noticed. A lot of the equipment modules available for the ships in World of Warships, like a lot of the equipment modules available for your tanks in World of Tanks, they're just not worth the asking price. And each slot, depending on the ship that you're outfitting, there's always one item of equipment that is a clear best choice, which means the majority of the equipment modules just never get fitted to any of the ships in the game. The difference here, of course, is that unlike in World of Tanks, it hasn't taken the World of Warships devs 5 years to realise that this is a problem and start planning to do something about it, so we'll be taking a closer look at that as well. On top of this, there's also one new map. It's a Canadian map, it's called Warrior's Path, and it's available for ships of tiers 7 to 10. Finally, after your ship's been blown out from under you, rather than heading straight back to the port and picking a new ship and jumping into a new battle, there's now something that you can do via the new Spectator Camera that's been introduced in this patch. Now, you'll be able to view in excruciating detail all the mistakes that surviving members of your team are making while you wait to get your ship back up and running in the port. And in order to encourage people to actually participate in the public test, Wargaming are giving away goodies to your regular World of Warships account for everybody who logs into the public test. Play at least one battle and you get 3 signal flags of every type on your live account. You get 1 day of premium account on the live server for winning 10 battles while playing in a destroyer, and you get an additional 1 day of premium account time for sinking a total of 20 destroyers while playing in any German cruiser on the test server. So let's get our fat asses logged in and show you what you can expect to see when you actually get onto the test server itself. First thing you're likely to notice is that you've got a couple of tier 4 ships available. You also have account level 12, 7 days of premium account, 30,000 gold and a bazillion credits, so you can basically buy anything in the game. You might be sitting there thinking tier 4 but I've got tier 10s on the live account. Well, it's not going to take you long to get to tier 10 on the test server. The research price of all equipment modules on all ships is 1 experience, and pretty much all of the ships only cost 4,000 XP to unlock. I basically made it from tier 4 to tier 10 in the German cruiser line with 3 or 4 games played. It ain't going to take long. Oh, and I almost forgot, in each of the tier 4 ships that you get credited with when you first log into the test server, you get a 15-point captain, so yeah. You also have more than enough gold to continually just retrain him on each new ship that you unlock as you go up the tech tree. And I took merciless advantage of that with the German cruiser captain, as you'll see in some of the replays. Now, about those equipment unlocks. Basically, it's all about giving you choices, instead of there just being one best option. Main Armaments Modification 1 reduces the chance of incapacitation, increases the survivability, and reduces the repair time of not just the main battery guns, but also the torpedo launchers on whichever ship this is fitted to. Then you have the Auxiliary Armaments Modification, which increases the survivability of your anti-aircraft and secondary guns by 100%, so whereas the Main Armaments Modification isn't going to be much use to an aircraft carrier, the Auxiliary Armaments Modification is. But where's the choice? Well, that comes in the Magazine Modification, minus 70% to the chance of your ship's magazine detonating. Well, hang on, Jingles, there's a detonation flag that reduces the chance of magazine detonation by 100%, yes, but in order to earn that flag, you first have to have your magazine detonated and lose your ship, or you can buy them. With the magazine modification, it's only 70%, but you pay for it once, and then you forget about it. You don't have to keep replenishing it after every battle. Get as far as tier 5 and you suddenly have access to other types of new modifications, the first of which is the aiming system modification, which reduces the dispersion of your main battery guns, makes your torpedo tubes rotate a bit faster, increases the range, and reduces the dispersion of your secondary armaments. If that doesn't float your boat, there's always main battery modification 2, which does increase the reload of your main battery guns by 5%, but reduces the turret rotation speed by 15%. And then finally, AA gun modification 2, which increases the range of your anti-aircraft guns by 20%. So it's pretty much all about giving you choices, and having those choices actually mean something, at least if you play destroyers, cruisers and battleships. If you play aircraft carriers, well, there's still really only one no-brainer choice in each category, but, well, aircraft carrier players are weird and we don't like to talk about them. So, how about those new in-game features like the Spectator Camera? And just for you guys, I went out and deliberately got my ship sunk so I could test out the Spectator Camera. Yeah, nobody believes that, do they? And you shouldn't, because I'm lying to you. Yes, I sucked out and got blown up, but it did at least give me the opportunity to have a look at this new Spectator Cam. It was a little confusing at first, but that's only because I'm used to using the free camera mode when I'm looking at replays. Now, the free camera in replays is not officially supported, and it's also not quite as good as this, but it's not difficult to understand how it works. The instructions are right there on screen in front of you. After you've sucked out and your ship's been blown up, just press the left mouse button to activate Spectator Camera. You can then use the left or right mouse button to cycle through the remaining ships on your team and laugh your ass off or cry inconsolably, depending on your perspective, as they get their destroyers spotted, caught in crossfires and absolutely annihilated by enemy cruisers. Oh, that's going to leave a mark. You can also use the crosshair in the centre of the screen to zoom straight to a friendly ship just by putting the crosshair over them and pressing the spacebar. If you just want a nice straightforward free camera to pan around the battlefield to your heart's content, the camera is controlled with the WASD keys and the elevation of the camera is controlled with your mouse wheel, then just press the left shift button and it goes into free camera mode. Useful for keeping an eye on what the enemy ships are up to, providing of course they have been spotted. One fun little feature that I discovered completely by accident is that the camera focus, by using the crosshair in the centre of the screen, positioning that over a friendly unit and then pressing space to zoom to that unit, it works for all friendly units, not just ships. It works on aircraft as well. So that's the new Spectator camera system, and hopefully none of you, because you're all awesome, are never going to get the chance to use it because you're going to stay alive and win every battle you play, right? Yeah, probably not. Right, what's next? Oh, that's right, the Cyclone. It's spreading to new maps, not just north. Now, when the Cyclone hits, what happens is obviously the weather gets worse, there's a lot of rain, there's a lot of fog, but the visibility of all surface units is reduced to a maximum of 8 kilometers, even battleships. Air detectability range is reduced to a maximum of 3 kilometers. Now, these are maximums. It's possible to remain undetected at ranges less than that. So the effect that this has is it makes things like the hydroacoustic search consumable, for example, suddenly has a point. Or at least, well, that's what I hoped was going to be the consequence. Because the thing about the hydroacoustic search consumable is it tends to be that consumable that people only fit because, well, I'm tier 4 and I've got nothing else to put into that slot. It's only ever used by very adventurous cruiser captains, for example, who are getting dangerously close to smoke screens and trying to flush out destroyers because the maximum range of the hydroacoustic search consumable is just under 5 kilometers, although it does last for nearly 2 minutes. Unlike the radar consumable, which has a much better range but has a much shorter duration, and in any case is only really available to higher tier ships. The benefit of hydroacoustic search is that a lot more ships can actually use it, a lot more ships at lower tier. And yet, despite my high hopes that employing the hydroacoustic search consumable during a cyclone would give me a bit of an edge and allow me to get those first shots off when I eventually find the enemy ships that I know are up ahead, well, no, it's still basically 100% useless. The range is just too short. Here on the Admiral Hipper at Tier 8, your hydroacoustic search has a range of 5.58 kilometers. But even with hydroacoustic search running, I'm going to be spotted by enemy ships and spot those enemy ships in the Cyclone at a range of 7 kilometers, and I'm going to be dead before I get to within hydroacoustic search range, which is a complete waste of time because I can see them anyway, even without the hydroacoustic search. So it's still, well, it's still a consumable that's looking for a point, because even with the spread of the Cyclone to various different maps in the upcoming patch, your hydroacoustic search is still just a waste of a consumable slot, certainly in a cruiser anyway. Perhaps if I'd been in a destroyer equipped with hydroacoustic search, I would have been able to get close enough to these enemy ships to be able to spot them without being spotted in return. But certainly in a cruiser, even if there's a Cyclone reducing visibility on the map, well, you're just better off using the defensive fire consumable. Even if there aren't any aircraft carriers in play, you can always use it to shoot down spotter aircraft. My one piece of advice for if you're playing on any map and the Cyclone suddenly hits, start defending the capture points that you hold, and if you're anywhere near the capture points that you don't hold, start trying to cap them, because with visibility reduced to 8 kilometers, even a battleship can cap without being detected. And if you wait until the capture alarm starts going off, well, even if it's a battleship in the cap circle, you have to get to within 8 kilometers of him to be able to spot him and start shooting at him. And battleships tend to not miss when they're shooting at targets that are 8 kilometers away. So be forewarned, when the Cyclone hits, start looking after those capture points. Anyway, let's have a game. I had a really, really fun game on the test server, and it was in this beauty of a ship, the German Tier 9 cruiser, the Rune. Where have you been all my life, baby? Using the concealment equipment module and a dirty, filthy, cheating, hacking 15-point captain skill, I've managed to get the surface detection range of this ship down to 11.1 kilometers, and its guns have a range of 20.7 kilometers. Even when I fire the guns on this ship, the surface detection range only goes up to 17.2 kilometers, which means I have a 4 kilometer. It's like hacking. A 4 kilometer window of opportunity in which I can be blazing away with the 203mm guns on this ship and not be detected by the enemy. Oh baby, where have you been all my life? It's like sailing around in an American destroyer that has 203mm guns. This ship is amazing. Why did you German cruiser captains not tell me about this ship? How have you let me play World of Warships for so long without this ship? That's it. I'm not happy with you guys. I'm not talking to you anymore. I think this thing's actually better than the Tier 10 Hindenburg, although that might just be the noob in me talking because I haven't played the Hindenburg. And oh, speaking of which, there's one over there. Because the guns have exactly the same range, and the Rune is even more stealthy. Right, he hasn't seen me, so I can afford to get all my guns pointing at him, but no, now he's turning. Okay, so this isn't going to be ideal, but I fire, and he's well inside detection range now, 17.2 kilometers once I've fired the guns. So he's going to start shooting back, start slowing, start turning. Here come the return shots. There's a Des Moines with me, who for some bizarre reason just is not shooting at this guy, but I managed to dodge his first set of shots. Oh no, wait, there we go. I think the Des Moines is actually firing at him, and has missed by a country mile, and I've managed to avoid his second return volley. So he's heading away, I'm heading away. We're both engaging each other with our rear gun turrets, but because we're both heading away from each other, what that means, he's about to cross that magic 17.2 kilometer line. There it is, at which range he can't see me anymore, and I can still keep firing at him for another 4 kilometers. So he's now firing blind, and I'm not, at least for now. Once he stops shooting, I'm not going to be able to see him either, but for now it's party time, providing I can actually hit him. And, well, you know what my shooting's like, that's far from guaranteed. It would be nice if I'd had a bit more support from that Des Moines. Tier 10 American cruiser, the Democracy Dispenser, with its auto-loading cannons, dispenses democracy at a rate of 90 shells a minute. But, well, he apparently had better things to do. Oh, by the way, because I didn't show you the loading screen, I feel the necessity to point out that this is very, very much a Tier 10 battle. There are 24 ships in this battle, and only 8 of them are not Tier 10, of which I am one. So I'm a relatively small fish in a relatively big pond in this game, but, well, it doesn't really seem to matter. Oh, the Hindenburg popped up again, and I've been spotted by aircraft. Oh, that's bad. Oh, and there's an enemy Rune choosing to get involved in the fight, and it looks like the Des Moines is taking him under fire. So, alright, challenge accepted. Here he comes, armor-piercing loaded. Nice big broadside of the ship to shoot at, and he cannot see me. I'm no longer detected by the aircraft. But as soon as they fire the guns, he does see me. So now he's getting shot at by a Des Moines and me. So who's he going to shoot at? And it looks like he's going to start shooting at me. Now, I am showing... I presume that he started shooting at me because I was showing more of the side of the ship than the Des Moines was. And there we go. That's the first hit that I've taken in this game, but it was minor damage. He then starts swinging the ship around. Now, is he going to give me a nice big flat broadside to shoot at? Not quite. But I'm still doing reasonable damage. Oh, wait, he is. He is. All right. Have some of this. There we go. There's the citadels you ordered. I'm still giving him plenty of target to shoot at, and the Hindenburg in the background is getting involved in this as well, but wow, look at the punishment this guy's taken. The Des Moines landing some hits as well, and he's finally decided that it's just really not worth getting all of your guns firing if you're going to take that much punishment in return. And I've taken some damage as well. Oh, torpedoes. Well, of course there are. And why is he turning around like that? Well, he's going to be launching torpedoes from the other side, isn't he? So we'll just finish him off. The Des Moines like missing with every shot he fires. There we go, got him. And there's the Hindenburg. Right. I really don't want to be fighting the Hindenburg at this kind of range, not with this amount of health. But I can't start turning away yet because there are going to be torpedoes in the water. The Rune turned around, which means he's going to get the torpedo launchers going from the other side. So I have to wait until... There they are. Come on! Torpedo beat! Hey. Yeah, I don't think so. I have installed the rudder modification. For exactly that reason. Now I need to get out of here. I have to wait for the Hindenburg to fire and start turning now between salvos. I'm probably going to take a good clip in the side as I do this because the Hindenburg does fire very quickly. Yeah, there we go. Wasn't too bad. I've had worse. And slow. And speed up. Varying my course and speed in order to try to throw his shots off. There we go. Yeah, missed the Citadel. Hit the bridge. Minor damage. Now he can't see me anymore because I haven't been firing the guns. So now my surface detection range is 11.1 kilometers. So now he's firing blind. If I'd carried on firing, he would have probably sunk me. But I knew that he would have probably sunk me if I'd carried on firing. I know what my surface detection range is. And oh, hello, there's that gearing that we spotted earlier. Now, I've got armor piercing loaded, which isn't ideal, but this is a lot of armor piercing. Oh, hello! Surprise, it's me! Of course, firing my guns has pushed my detection range up to 17.2 kilometers again, but yeah, I'm a narrow target. I'm not presenting much of a target for the Hindenburg to shoot at. And, yep. Easy. Oh man, I love this ship. Of course, I'm not necessarily finished with the Hindenburg. He's still firing blind, so he keeps extending his surface detection range, which means I can see him, and he's now more than 17.2 kilometers away, so I am perfectly at liberty to return fire with my two rear turrets, with no danger of detection whatsoever. Now, I did take a bit of a beating when I had that Rune and the Hindenburg both firing at me, but my repair consumable, because Tier 9 and 10 cruisers get the battleship health repair consumable, is going to be off cooldown very, very soon, so I'm going to be able to recover some of that health. Nevertheless, I think I've been adventurous enough for a Tier 9 cruiser in a Tier 10 game, at least as far as this match is concerned, so I'm going to be playing the support role from here on in. I want to stay well at the back and let the big boys take a beating for a change. 20.7 kilometer range on my guns, which, you know, if I'm being completely honest here, is a very, very good range for cruiser guns, but, well, Japanese battleships can fire back at me at that range. And, in fact, at this kind of level, all the battleships can fire back at me at this range, and I don't like getting into fair fights, so what can we do about that? I've got that spotter plane consumable, haven't I? This is going to be good. Whose day can we ruin now? Now, long-time viewers of my channel will only be too aware that I am not particularly good at aiming. Well, in general, and definitely not when I'm using the spotter aircraft, because it changes the perspective. But I don't do too badly in this particular example, and it's more down to blind luck and ignorance than any actual skill on my behalf. But I've got Namagi spotted. It's one of the very, very few Tier 8 ships in this game. Where did he go? There he is. Let's get that high explosive working, and that does look pretty good. In fact, that was not bad. Not bad. Good enough. I've got his range now. And there's that bloody Hindenburg again. But, well, I love shooting at battleships. I mean, what can I say? They're a lot harder to miss. He's not doing an awful lot of course adjustments, which is just making this easier and easier. Once I've got the range and they start landing on target... Oh no, he is changing course now. Oh, I'll take some shots at the Hindenburg. You never know. Ah, right. Okay. That's a lot of firepower from a lot of ships with a lot of health. And I have been spotted. And that's a Zhao. The Japanese Tier 10 cruiser. And that thing is absolutely lethal. Alright, let's get some fire on target and then get in the cover behind this island. There we go, knocked something out, not sure what. Let's see if we can score some more hits, and it looks like he's about to run himself aground. Should I start slowing down? No, too late. Well, it's good news and bad news. I can't hit him anymore because I've got the island in the way, but he can't hit me. And I was broadside onto him, so this is probably actually a good thing. But hello, friendly destroyer up ahead, and he's just dropped a smoke screen. And I see a hipper. Right, let's get the armor piercing loaded, and I'm just going to borrow your smoke screen for a minute, Mr. Destroyer. There he is. I've got all the guns, almost all the guns. There we go. Oh, I've been spotted. Wait, no, now I'm in the cover of the smoke screen. Ah! Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Is that the side of your ship, Mr. Hipper? I do believe it is. That's a paddling. Well, it's not much of a paddling. Come on, where are the citadels? We want some citadels. 203mm guns. Completely invisible. Well inside detection range. Taking advantage of the destroyer's smoke screen. Yeah, he's had enough of that. I need to be careful though, because I can still be spotted by those aircraft. So we're going to keep moving. Come on, big boy. Square heads down for the big Bosch gangbang. Surely this is the kill. Yay! And now I've been spotted by the aircraft, so time to start speeding up. Although we've nearly won this game. Well, I got a couple of more shots off against the Zhao just before we popped around the corner of that island, but, well, I didn't have an awful lot of him to shoot at, so they're probably going to miss. But I'm not detected anymore. That smoke screen's still going to last another 30 seconds or so, so I basically spent the rest of the match just exploiting the visibility mechanics. And sitting well outside of detection range and just hammering enemy tier 10s with long-range cruiser fire. And it wasn't a bad result. Well, I've had better results than this, but rarely in tier 10 matches. Yeah, the Rune. Wow, what a ship. I mean, you need a 15-point captain to make the most of it, but wow, what a ship. This thing's fantastic. I'm going to have to start plugging my way down the German cruiser line. Next thing you know, you'll be telling me the Soviet cruisers are good. God damn it. There are only so many hours in the day. Anyway, patch 0.57, that's what you can expect to see. Oh, one other thing that I failed to mention, I don't know if you noticed at various points throughout the battles that we were watching, during the course of today's video, you actually see the names and types of aircraft in the various different air groups that are flying around the map. So, you know, they're not just anonymous blobs flying around the sky anymore. So that's another nice new little feature. Patch 0.57. Coming soon to a World of Warships near you. Hope you enjoyed today's video, folks. As always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.